Well, let's take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the JSE. And the local bourse has extended the gains that we saw in yesterday's session. And of course, some news that markets have been fixing their eyeballs on include the China-US trade talks that were concluded in Sweden, seeking that both parties have agreed to seek an extension. The last time I checked, they're waiting for Donald Trump to actually sign off an extension of the tariff pause. Of course, locally, we have one more day before we get the South African Reserve Bank's latest interest rate decision. Of course, the all-share up by 0.15% on the day, that coming from the Financial 15 that has climbed more than 0.7%. On the opposite side of the spectrum, though, we do have the Industrial 25 taking a knock of more than 0.1%, and the Resources 10 complex edging lower by 0.06%. Let's take a look at the markets stateside, and of course the Fed concluding its two-day meeting today, and they will be communicating their latest interest rate decision tonight at around 8 p.m. South African time. And of course, this is amid stronger than expected GDP growth in the second quarter, and private payrolls that were higher than expected, according to ADP. Of course, more earnings still coming through. We did have Starbucks today managing to beat revenue estimates amid its turnaround plan. A mixed picture on that front. The S&P 500 up by 0.04% currently. Tech-heavy Nasdaq climbing more than 0.1%, and the Dow, though, declining by more than 0.1%. Let's take a look at the markets across the Atlantic, and talking about economic growth data prints, we did have the Eurozone. That economy expanding 0.1% in the second quarter, more than what analysts had anticipated. Of course, in earnings over there, we have German sportswear giant Adidas posting second quarter sales that surprised to the downside. Of course, the company also flagging a hit from US tariffs. In banking, we had Swiss bank UBS beating on net profit. A mixed picture, but largely green. Let's go back to those US markets, those European markets. All right, if those don't come through, I'll read them out at 6. Okay, there we go. The FTSE 100 declining slightly, 0.06%. The CAC 40 leading the gains that we are seeing. They're climbing almost 0.25%. And the DAX eking out a gain of almost 0.1%. Let's take a look at the currency market and start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. A little bit of weakness coming through to the rand, now creeping closer to that 18 rand level against the US dollar at 17 rand 96. The local unit against the pound at 23 rand 86, and against the euro at 20 rand 61. Let's check in on how the other currency pairs are doing, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.14, pound dollar at 1.32, and the yen just below 149 against the greenback.